Here's what you should know about your local housing market in this week's Market Update. We just completed the first week after Labor Day, the first week of back to school, the first week of getting back to normal life after our summer breaks. We've got some big things shown in the stats this week. First of all, we've got mortgage rates hitting an 11-month low. The average mortgage rate right now we're seeing at 6.45%. So it's really nice seeing that below that 6.5 mark. I think that's going to do a lot of great things for opening up inventory. We've been really hoping to get below that 6.5 mark for a while. Let's see and hope if that number stays there or even gets lower, because mortgage rates have been a huge barrier to the housing market opening up, to inventory hitting in the market, to getting things moving. So let's hope that that number stays low, stays below 6.5%, and goes even lower, and we'll be tracking that closely because that will be big things for the housing market. Now let's look at the stats this past week. We're looking at Morristown, Chatham, Madison, Harding, Mars Plains, Mendham, Chester, Bernardsville, Basking Ridge, and Randolph. We saw 49 new homes come on the market in these towns this past week. That's a 123% increase over last week. That's big. Not all that surprising, but it is nice to see that those predictions of the market picking back up and seeing some rejuvenated activity after Labor Day is coming true. Now, 40 of these homes were single-family houses, and only 9 of those were condos or townhouses. That is also refreshing. Most of the demand we see in single-family houses, so it is good seeing that a strong majority of these new homes on the market are single-family houses. We got an average list price this past week of $1,193,000. That's a 2% increase over last week. And the town with the highest average list price this past week was Harding at $2,637,000. Total inventory. We see the active number of homes on the market increased over last week as well. Total inventory is currently 225 homes actively on the market, and that is a 9% increase over last week. We saw most of the towns increase over the prior week, and the towns with the highest number of highest number of homes on the market currently, first place is Basking Ridge at 35, and we've got close seconds with Morristown and Township, with Mendham and Randolph. Homes sold. We saw a decrease in homes sold this past week. That is not surprising. Most of these home sales that are closing these past few weeks were early summer, late spring deals that were put together. And no one's putting a deal together in late spring, early summer and saying, let's wait until the week after Labor Day to close this deal. Most of them were looking at last week. So we saw a higher than normal last week because most people were trying to get those closings in before Labor Day weekend, and a lower number this week because most people that would have fallen into this time frame for closing pushed it up a little to get it out of the way before back to school. Average list price of the homes that sold this past week was $1,168,000. The average sale price was $1,190,000. So this past week, homes in these towns sold for an average of 2.5% above list price. We saw Madison with the highest average sale price this past week at $1,945,000. 2 of these towns saw sale prices below the list price. That would be Mendham, where homes sold for an average of 0.6 below list price this past week, and then Bernardsville, where homes sold for an average of 2% below list price. Other than that, all the other towns, homes sold above the list price, ranging anywhere from just 0.1% above list price in Randolph up to 7.2% above list price in Morristown and Mars Township. So we still are seeing many of these towns selling above the list price, and in many cases, strong amounts above the list price. Let's see. So average days on market for these homes that sold, 32 days on market. That is a 29% decrease over last week. So that might be a sign of homes selling quicker yet again. Under contract, this is, while not complete data because we don't have homes that have actually sold, we don't have sale prices, it is much more current data than the other numbers we're looking at because these are deals being put together this past week. So total homes that went under contract this past week, that was 20 homes. That is a 35% decrease over last week. Average list price of the homes that went under contract this past week was $969,000. That is a 27% decrease over last week. And then the median days on market this past week for homes that went under contract was 27 days on the market. So that is a 28% decrease over the past week. So that is promising, showing homes selling quicker. So it'll be interesting over these next few weeks. We're expecting big things out of the market these next few weeks as we get into fall market. As we anticipate, there's a lot of talk about it, lower mortgage rates. Let's see if that comes to fruition. But the hope is in the industry that the mortgage rates will come down as projected, that we will see more inventory come in the market. We will see a lot of that market opening up, see more sales activity, see strong sale prices, and a lot of promising things coming for both buyers and sellers. So thanks so much for checking in with me. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll catch you guys again next week.